aviators, welcome back to the Pro Pilot Playbook Podcast. I'm Sean. I'm a corporate pilot. Been a corporate pilot for, or a pilot in general, for 25 years now. I'm joined with
Mike Martin, a corporate pilot, also flown several different jets for several different operators over 25 years also. So we're glad to have you here. And this topic, I'm sure you saw the title of it. It's for our viewers or listeners
may have gotten in trouble.
May have gotten in trouble, right? Because our mission here at the Pro Pilot Playbook is to get anyone into aviation and to help them in any way we can to launch their career.
Yep.
And that's the whole reason we started the podcast. That's
enabling people to become pilots faster and cheaper.
That's right. And visit our website, thepropilotplaybook.com, for more information. But a lot of people may be watching this and they had a little bit of a mix-up in their past, a little fly in the ointment.
Yeah. Different states call it different things, either DWI, DUI. Here in Ohio, they call it an OVI, which is, I'm not even sure what that stands for.
Gotcha.
But these are all things that do not bode well with flying. That whole drinking and flying thing, they haven't made that legal yet.
No. Although I heard a story about Air France where you were about one glass of wine, but they stopped doing that. Or I don't know. It's crazy, but it's a bad thing. I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat it. If you do have a DUI or you're actively flying and you get a DUI, it's a problem. It's a huge deal, more so than it would be for probably any other profession. However, we did a little research, and we do know that it is possible that you could still operate or become a pilot even if you do have one. There's several different methods, not methods, but there's cases of where people have gotten them and we're able to overcome that.
Right. And so we're talking somebody with probably one DUI, one offense. Not multiple offenses. Not multiple offenses. Not some type of, it was DUI, but there was also drugs in the vehicle, and I resisted arrest. But it's still one thing, right? No, once you start stacking that stuff up, it gets pretty bad. But to think that you can't be a professional pilot because you have one is inaccurate. You can 100% be a pilot. Professional pilot even, especially at the regionals. You can be an airline pilot. Some of the majors take things a little differently. I think we'd probably like to say in this program that you would have trouble possibly getting on with a major airline.
Yeah. And then the other thing, Sean, is I have heard you may get hired at an operator, but then their insurance company may have some issues with you too.
Yeah, that would probably be a case. I could see that happening in a corporate environment, where oftentimes you're changing insurance carriers and stuff, chasing a good rate, and they don't agree with something. I would say you're going to have more problems with something like that in your background, getting on with a corporate operator in general,
right,
versus the airlines, because you're dealing one-on-one with insurance companies, and every insurance form that I fill out, and I fill out a lot of them. I fly 15 different aircraft spread across the country, and seems like I'm filling one of those forms out every month, at least. And there's always one or two questions there.
Right.
And they're not even worded. They're worded smart too. So if you're one of the folks, because I've got a buddy that went through this, he got pulled over for DUI or OVI, whatever it is they call it here in Ohio, but got it busted down. He was never convicted of the DUI.
Gotcha.
Got it busted down to the reckless operation. Operation. Yeah, so the questions in these insurance forms are worded that way. Also on the airline applications, they're worded, have you ever been arrested or convicted or of a reckless operation or intoxicated while driving or any drug charge? I mean, the question covers every possible scenario.
Right. And there is some questions like that on your aviation medical application.
Yes.
So this is just you're out. You have to have a medical certificate to be a pilot, and they do ask these questions on there.
And that's an important point we should mention.
Yeah.
Lying on that form
is not a good idea.
Right. Lying on some company insurance form versus you shouldn't do any of them, but lying on that medical form.
The federal form, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal because when you get, this is something that the general public may not know, when you get one of these offenses on your driving record, some type of drug or alcohol related thing, or a reckless operation, you go into a national database. It's called the NDR, National Driver Registry. Mm-hmm. And it's for any of those, not speeding tickets, it's any of those big driving offenses.
Okay.
And that stuff is what the FAA searches when you fill out your medical. And it's what an airline will do a search in also during the application process. And if you were to lie on that medical application form, and then they do the NDR search and find it, you won't only not be getting your license ever.
Yeah, but probably you could get criminal.
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
it's a bad deal. Yeah, so don't do that. You know, the adage I always heard, and we're not attorneys. This is just pilots talking. So, you'll have to fact check everything we're saying, passing on knowledge. But what I heard is you can have a DUI and pretty much operate as a pilot throughout your career. However, when the market is tight for pilots, which it's not right now, you need to disclose all this to your employer, and a lot of times they'll pass on you, because they'll just, hey, there's 10 people in line for this job. I'll just go around to the next guy that has a clean history. So
right, that is not the case right now. No. Right now, it's the other way around. There are 10 jobs and only one guy in line. So
yeah,
that's why I say that you are 100% golden to get on with the regionals, and you can still have a very nice career at the regional airlines. I would imagine right before you retire, you'd be close to the $200,000 a year mark, working a day a month,
right,
1 or 2 days a month,
right.
And after your mandatory retirement at 65, from there you can always move into a corporate environment or something.
Yeah. So the bottom line for our listeners is, if you do have an alcohol-related offense, like a driving under the influence or whatever they call it in your state, I wouldn't be discouraged that, it is possible that you could still have a successful career as a pilot, and just look into it and get some more advice on that matter. And more importantly, if you're a person getting ready to embark in a career on aviation, then you should use Uber anytime that you're going anywhere, because it'll definitely help you in your hurdle. And no one really should drink and drive anyway, but as a safety thing. But when you're going into a career path as we are, just be even more cautious.
Yeah. I started using Lyft a lot. Now they do Delta Sky Miles. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, you get a Sky Mile for every mile you ride in a Lyft. I think it's either money or miles. I don't know.
Oh man, I got to switch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's nice. I get quite a few hundred Sky Miles every month out of that.
Yeah, and it's so widespread where it works now. I mean, it used to be It was intermittent, but now it's pretty reliable on almost any city you go to. So,
yeah, I'm barely in rental cars anymore.
Yep. It's the only way to go. So yeah, so the alcohol stuff. As far as I don't really know much about other criminal related charges. I don't know if you've heard anything.
I'm pretty sure that felonies are another thing you have to list on the on that form.
Yeah.
Any felony. And I think it asks the question two different ways. We should have pulled up that application before shooting this, but I think it asks it a felony, and then I think it asks the same type of question, only related to drug or alcohol stuff, not even counting a car. But I think if you have any type of serious felony, that's going to create some issues.
Yeah. But anyway, do your own research, but don't be discouraged. And hopefully, our goal here is to help people get into aviation. Hopefully this podcast found you well.
Yeah.
And if you think there's someone interested in flying that you think this information might help, certainly share it with them.
Pass it along. Yeah.
And if you have any questions or comments, there may be somebody watching here that knows way more about this than we do. Just email us.
I think we nailed it.
Yeah. Influence at email us at podcast@propilotplaybook.com. We'd love to see your comments.
Yeah, thank you.